west around 5 miles per hour.
Stay tuned to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge, presented by Professional Floor Covering.
Without further ado, we will throw it back over to Terry. Today's community comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Thank you so very much. You're listening to Community Comments, and we are talking about staying safe outside on this glorious 4th of July holiday weekend that we're just about to enjoy. People love to be outdoors, especially on ATVs, UTVs, and boats, too. We haven't talked about that yet, so we're talking to Lieutenant Jacob Holsclaw of the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. And yes, lakes, rivers, people are out on the boats, too, and a lot of the things that we've been talking about apply to what's good reminders for people to stay safe on boats as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I think it's looking like some pretty warm and nice weather this weekend. I think there's going to be a lot of folks getting out on boats. Make sure people are doing it safely and responsibly. So the number one thing we really want to remind folks of is please wear a life jacket. It's kind of like the helmets and seatbelts. You never really age out of the responsibility of wearing a life jacket. Some people say, well, I'm a really good swimmer, or I don't ever foresee maybe falling out of a boat. But the majority of folks that get injured or killed in a boat they either choose to jump out of a boat or they fall out of not wearing a life jacket. So just encouraging folks to have that. You want to make sure that you inspect it, make sure your life jacket doesn't have any tears or rips in it, make sure it's functional. You want to make sure that it's also going to fit you good. I think this is especially the case for adults. Well, really both adults and children. You want to make sure that children are wearing a smaller life jacket so that they don't slip out of it. And in the case of adults, you want to make sure that they're wearing a life jacket that's fitted to their weight. Different life jackets have different weight requirements or weight recommendations because you want to make sure that that life jacket's going to keep you afloat.
And life jacket is required for everyone on the boat?
No, life jackets are not required. There are some, if you're talking federally controlled waters or the Great Lakes, there are some requirements for children to wear life jackets. But as far as most of our inland waters in Wisconsin, there isn't a requirement, but it's always the best practice. One thing to remind folks, too, is if you do choose to not wear a life jacket, make sure that your life jackets are readily accessible. And by that, we mean make sure that they're, and this is a legal requirement, they have to be quickly accessible. So sometimes when we're doing a boating check or inspecting a boat, we'll find that folks have those life jackets buried kind of deep down, in some compartment in the boat. And if there was an emergency, it would take them quite some time to be able to figure out where they're at or get those out. So they have to be out there and ready to go for folks.
When, it's the two seem to go hand in hand, but when people are out on boats, especially on a pleasure cruise, one typically enjoys a beverage, but that can lead to some serious problems, and it's not a choice that people should make lightly.
Yeah, a lot of these, people, it's completely fine. I mean, the passengers in a boat, they could be having an adult beverage. That's just fine. But best practice is that operator is completely sober. And because one thing I think folks need to remember is that there's going to be a lot of heat, especially this weekend. We're talking some warm days. We're talking potentially wind, sun, a lot of wave action and movement. And all that stuff combined with potentially being under the influence of alcohol or drugs could really wreak havoc on somebody being able to operate safely. It slows your reaction time. And anybody who's been on a boat, it can get pretty dynamic. I mean, there's boats going all different directions and all over in those waterways. And we really want that operator to be at the top of their game.
And it's hard to make a quick maneuver on a boat. A lot of times when you're in trouble, when you realize you're in trouble, it may already be too late.
Yeah. So, another good thing, good reminder is, look out for hazards, right? There's a lot of things that could be in the water. You could have logs or floating debris, or maybe if you're in a riverway or a shallower area, there could be rocks or stumps that you need to look out for. So it's always good, to have a spotter, so to speak, somebody in the boat that's kind of watching out for those hazards and helping the operator navigate a little bit. The other thing is, obviously, you want to watch out for other boaters. You want to watch out for folks that are swimming. There's quite a few rules as far as distance from other boats, distance from swim areas. For an example, boaters have to operate at a slow no wake speed if they're within 100 feet of a swim area. So, that's just to protect those swimmers because sometimes folks or kids tend to drift outside those buoy marked areas. So you really got to have your head on a swivel and make sure that you're watching out for other folks.
Absolutely. We're talking with Lieutenant Jacob Holsclaw. He's the Off-Highway Vehicle Administrator for the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. And I don't know, anything about boating that we didn't talk about that you'd like to remind our listeners about?
Yeah, probably two things here. It's always good to have what we call a float plan. So, especially if you're going to be going out by yourself, or maybe it's just you and a friend or you and a buddy, whatever, let somebody know where you're going, when you're going to be back. Some of our lakes and waterways can be pretty big. You've got fast-moving water, things like that. There's some hazards there, so it's always good to have a plan on kind of when you're going to be back. Keep a cell phone with you. Maybe a good idea to keep that cell phone in a waterproof bag or a waterproof container so it's not going to get wet by chance. So if you do have an emergency for some reason, you can call somebody. The other thing I want to tell folks about is this holiday weekend, so July 4th, 5th, and 6th, there's a national Operation Dry Water campaign. And really it's a nationally recognized effort for increased patrol. So there's going to be increased sheriff's deputies, police officers, conservation wardens out on those waterways, making sure that people are safe. And the goal is if they do catch somebody that's been drinking and operating a boat, they're going to be, getting them off the water. So it's the safest thing for them. It's the safest thing for all the other boaters on that waterway. But it's a pretty neat effort to just really try to make an impact and make sure everybody's being safe.
Sure. Will law enforcement have any kind of extra leeway because of this effort, or is this just more of what they do all season long?
Well, yeah. I mean, we've got a number of law enforcement patrols around the state. They're going to be, typically out on your weekends, especially your busy holiday weekends. And but this is just kind of an extra effort to really try to remove intoxicated operators. I mean, obviously that's a big safety issue, but I mean, we're looking for everything. We're looking for making sure everybody's got a life jacket. Everybody on the boat has to have a life jacket. So if you're not wearing a life jacket, at the very minimum, so, if there's 6 people on a boat, you have to have 6 life jackets that fit each one of those people. So they'll be doing safety checks, making sure boats are registered and making sure all your equipment requirements are met, things like batteries strapped down and secured and things like that. So but it is an increased effort, and it's good to let folks know that we're going to be out and about this weekend.
Very good. We're talking about staying safe this long holiday weekend, and, well, all summer long, in fact, with Lieutenant Jacob Holsclaw. He's the Off-Highway Vehicle Administrator for the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. Time for another break, then we'll be right back on Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Right now, where you can save up to 80% off of artwork, floor models, discontinued items, special purchase items, and scratch and dent. Save big on lamps starting as low as $20, sofas starting as little as $199, and king and queen size mattresses starting as little as $99. Take it home today or save big on our fast delivery. Shop our clearance event going on right now at Slumberland Furniture, Beaver Dam, and Watertown.
Life is full of challenges and surprises. When legal matters arise, you need a trusted team on your side. At Newberger, Griggs, Sweet, and Froley, they have been guiding clients through estate planning, elder law, and various litigation matters since 1922. They have employed attorneys who are dedicated to providing quality legal services that meet their clients' needs in an efficient and ethically responsible manner. They're always close by with offices in Watertown, Columbus, and Lake Mills. Newberger, Griggs, Sweet, and Froley. To schedule a consultation, visit watertownlaw.com.
Breathe easier with JB Mechanical's air quality solutions. Say goodbye to dust mites, pet dander, and pollutants in your home. JB Mechanical's team of experts will assess your home's needs and recommend the best solutions to ensure the air you breathe is healthy and safe. A properly designed, installed, and maintained HVAC system can improve your air quality. Poorly done, it can spread dust, allergens, and bacteria. Invest in your comfort today and give JB Mechanical a call. Online at jbmechllc.com. Your proud trained dealer.
Gear up for Quick Trip's Mountain Dew Quick Climb. Now through August 17th, play free daily in the Quick Rewards app and earn bonus plays with every eligible purchase. For example, grab one with hot food, that's 2 bonus plays. Each week, the cash prize climbs by $5,000, all the way to a $250,000 grand prize. So open the app and get climbing. Your summer, your climb, your win. No purchase necessary. See complete details at quicktrip.com/sweepstakes.
Don't scroll past summer. Experience it live at Summerfest. See your favorite artists, grab your go-to fest food, and make memories you'll talk about all year. Because it's more than just a music festival. It's your summer highlight reel. Don't miss Summerfest, presented by American Family Insurance, June 19th through 21st, June 26th through 28th, and July 3rd through 5th. The stories you tell this summer, they start at Summerfest. Get tickets now at summerfest.com.
They keep you informed on the Dodge County landscape. We keep the inside of your home looking great. Professional Floor Covering welcomes you to the next segment of Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
And with the last segment for today's Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge, here's Terry Bell.
Thank you, JKs. We are talking about staying safe when you're out on the ATV, the UTV, or the boat, or the jet ski, I imagine, too. In Wisconsin, we love the outdoors. We love to enjoy the outdoors. But it's important to stay safe, not only for your sake, but you certainly don't want to cause a tragedy that will affect several other people. So stay safe out there. And help us keep that top of mind is Lieutenant Jacob Holsclaw. He is the Off-Highway Vehicle Administrator for the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. A lot of things we've been talking about are things that a lot of us are already familiar with. I was intrigued by the notion of mentorship that people can take part in and help them be good, responsible vehicle operators.
Yeah, absolutely. We especially encourage folks that are new to the sport and just kind of get link up with a mentor. And another good way to do that is become a member of an ATV club. There's a lot of ATV clubs around the state. You could also link up with WATVA, the Wisconsin ATV and UTV Association. They're a very proactive voice for responsible and safe operation around the state. So there's a couple options there if you're just trying to get linked up with a kind of a community. And, if you have a friend or a relative maybe that has some pretty good experience of operating one of these machines, they're a safe operator, get linked up with them and have them kind of teach you how to operate these things safely, because the safety courses are not hands-on. They teach you a lot of the ethics, the regulations, the things the kind of the book knowledge that you need to know. But it's always a good idea to have that hands-on application, especially if you're new to the sport or you're a younger kid.
That's a good point. Learning hands-on often seems to be much more effective than just sitting and watching and listening. How closely do you work with these different clubs in terms of making sure they're passing along good information?
Well, we love our partnerships. I mentioned WATVA, Wisconsin ATV and UTV Association. They've been a great partner for a long time. They are able to basically lobby and work through representatives for legislative changes, law updates. But they are just a really good partner to help us reach that local level. So if there's new information coming out, we can kind of work that through them, and then they get that out to their club members. And a lot of their club members are actually Wisconsin DNR safety instructors, and we have a great core of outdoor skills trainers, and then myself as well. Just being in that off-highway vehicle and boating program, we get that information out to the safety instructors as well, so that they're able to really pass that on to the students.
It seems that at first blush, it would seem anyway, that ATVs and UTVs can go anywhere, but there are really some places where those types of off-road vehicles are not allowed.
Correct. Yes, unless number one, you can ride on any private land as long as you have permission. Number two, you can ride on a public trail. There's a number of public trails, about 2,300 miles of public trails around the state. But to do that, you got to have your machine registered. If you're a Wisconsin resident, or that machine is in the state for 15 consecutive days or more, it needs to be registered through the Wisconsin DNR. And same goes for your public roadways or routes that are open. The machine would need to be registered. One thing to remember is that those areas should be marked. There's local counties and municipalities are by statute allowed to pass ordinances. So there's basically a local ordinance that is in place, and that allows the legal operation of those machines on the roadway. So there'll be some kind of signs or signage to direct you as such, so you're going to know where to operate. Because really, if you're operating on a roadway or crossing a roadway that is not a route, that's a huge safety concern because, the motor vehicle public, people in the cars and the trucks, they're not going to expect you to be on that roadway. And unfortunately, there could be some pretty bad things that happen there. So you're going to want to make sure you're operating in the right place. And then if you're a non-resident, if you're somebody from out of state coming up here, remember that you do need a trail pass to operate on those trail systems, and that just gets you legal.
We may have covered this just now, but what if you're a person who is interested in getting started, but you've never owned such a vehicle before, haven't had a lot of experience riding, but looks like a lot of fun that you'd like to join in on? What's the best way to get started?
Well, a couple things. First off, there's always a recommendation. Take a safety course. Even if you're not maybe legally required to, take an ATV safety course. Check out the Wisconsin DNR website. You can just Google Wisconsin DNR ATV, and that will bring you to a number of links. Safety course links, registrations requirements, equipment requirements, all the legal requirements and regulations that you need to operate. And then again, I think if you don't know anybody, maybe personally, get a hold of some of the local ATV clubs. The Wisconsin ATV Association can point you in the right direction, get you linked up with somebody that can really get you going. And they may be able to help you. Let's say you're looking at buying a new machine or buying a used machine or kind of working through that dealership process, for example. Those guys can kind of help you and point you in the right direction there. We can't really make recommendations one way or the other on a machine type other than you just want to make sure that it's the right thing for you. If it's in the case of youth operators, you want to make sure that machine is sized correctly to that person. And every manufacturer has different sizes and different recommendations for age groups. So something to really keep in mind. And then one thing, too, just real quick, with youth operation, there's different age requirements between ATVs and UTVs. They're two different machines, so typically, if you're 16 and older, you can operate a UTV with the safety certificate. If you're under 16, you really, in general, unless it's a small-sized UTV, you cannot operate those in the public domain. And then in the case of ATVs, if you're 12 or older and you've passed a safety course, you can operate by yourself on a trail system. But the issue occurs if you need to cross a roadway or operate down a roadway route, you need to be accompanied by an adult. So we really encourage anybody under 16 to be accompanied by an adult, no matter if you're on a trail or a roadway. So just something to keep in mind.
I would have to think, Jacob, that ATV and UTV clubs would be just a tremendous resource. You can make social connections, new friends, and there's nothing quite like, sharing experiences and recommendations with people who, have been there and done that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of clubs that'll do fundraisers. They'll have, social get-togethers where you may have 20, 30, 40 machines linking up together and kind of going out in a group ride. And it's really good when you know that you can ride with some responsible folks. They're going to be following the rules. They're going to be making sure they're safe, driving at safe speeds, things like that. So that's really a great option if you're getting started. But yeah, just there's just so many resources. I mean, we have one of the best, and maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I think if you look at the national numbers, we have one of the best organized ATV and UTV programs in the country. We really do.
We're quickly running out of time, but we do have a caller on line one. Caller, you're on Community Comments with Jacob Holsclaw.
Yes, hello. I'm a farmer, and I live on a state highway, and I need to take my UTVs to various farm fields to do various tasks. Can I drive that on the state highway till I get to a county or a township road?
Yes. So, great question. There is an exemption for agricultural use to operate on roads that are not normally open. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to register your ATV or UTV for agricultural use. It's considered a private registration. It's non-expiring, and it's a yellow sticker that you'd throw on that machine. So you can just contact the DNR customer service representative, and then that will allow you to transport farm equipment or supplies from different fields. I think that's one thing to remember is that agricultural use has to be between a farm or farms, so it has to be that legitimate agricultural use. But, yeah, great question.
Yeah, fantastic question. I'm afraid that's all the time we have. Oh, yeah, yes?
I do have that yellow sticker, so I'm legal then to go from field to field.
Correct, yep, as long as you're using it for agricultural use, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Excellent question. That's all the time we have. Jacob Holsclaw, I want to thank you for your time. It's been an hour well spent, and we thank you for listening to Community Comment on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Step into a world so fine, shiny floors.